Okay, so in this video, we're going to go ahead and do a saphenous catheter, which is going to be on the rear legs, on the lateral side of the leg. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clip the area where we're going to try to place the catheter. And because this is a saphenous catheter, you don't have to go all the way around. If it's long hair, then maybe, since this dog is not, we should be just good with just a window. Okay. Now you gotta make it even also, by the way. That's purely for the owner's benefit for the most part. Okay, so because this is a big dog and that's a big vein, we're gonna go ahead and try a 22 gauge. 20 gauge, excuse me. I got cats on the brain. And you're gonna take off the stopper and make sure the stylet and the catheter are easily separated, which they are. And you're gonna want to scrub. Bubba just got a bath about, let's say, last week, and he typically is a clean dog, so we should get by with just 3 rounds of scrub and alcohol. Oh no, that's not a clean dog. That's pretty dirty. So we're gonna get by with 5. Round 2. Do we have sterile gauze in here? Maybe?
Behind you?
Okay.
In the drawer.
Yeah, I see it now. Duh, I should know that. Round 2. And he's not as dirty as I thought. I've gotten a lot of dirt off with just the 3 scrubs. There's nothing coming off on the chlorhex solution, so I'm going to wipe with the alcohol and see if any dirt comes off on that. If it doesn't, I'll be good with 3. If it does, I should go ahead and do another round. And that looks pretty good. So then I'm going to take some sterile gauze. That's a lot. And the reason why we're using sterile gauze instead of a paper towel, you could probably get by with that at an emergency clinic or something like that when it's an emergency. But when it's a surgery, you want to make sure it's as clean as possible. So we use sterile gauze just to dry the area and get as much moisture off so the tape will stick. Okay. So, let me move my tape over so I can access it a little easier, since Bubba was a little wiggly and kind of hitting my tape. All right. So, now we're going to go ahead and place the catheter. Now, in this video, I have one person restraining the pet, the other person holding off occluding the vein. A lot of times it'll be just one other person that's going to restrain and hold it. But when you do so, you're going to grab the foot, so that way you can keep it stable and the pet is less likely to pull the leg back. And you're going to go... Ooh, his vein is a little rolly. I'm still going to try it. In the other video, I had put my finger outside of it to kind of keep it from rolling and to keep the skin in place. Here it's a little more difficult, but it can be done. Alright, so I got the flash. I'm going to feed the catheter. Oh, looks like it's good. And now I'm going to put my T-port on. Okay, so catheter's in, T-port is on. Some people will use the stopper and do the tape, and then at the end of the tape put the T-port on. I don't. It's a lot easier to hold it for me, but again, that's just my technique. Everybody will find their own technique in taping and putting catheters. Essentially, the basics will be the same. So now I'm going to tape her on the leg. Try to make sure it sticks on this leg, on the back leg. There's a lot of hollow parts or dips in the leg that kind of make it hard to stick. But just try as much as possible. And you see how I'm pinching around the catheter, so that way it makes a snug fit in the tape. And when you're taping, you're going to want to do half on, half off. Half on the tape previous and half off the tape. So now that I did 2 rounds of the big tape, I'm actually going to anchor in my T-port. This again is just something that I've learned that helps me. And the reason why I do it is because one time I went to flush the catheter, and after seeing that it was in, I pulled out my needle, because I used the stopper. I pulled out my needle and the T-port came with it. So, very frustrating, and I learned my lesson since then. So I anchored it twice, and now I'm going to take the last bit of tape and I'm going to go over it, all of it. Not all of it, you're going to leave the stopper out, but I am going to go over the T-port and back up the leg to get the rest of the tape and make sure.
Stay.
And make sure that's in.
Easy, buddy, stay.
So now, what we're going to do.
Stay, buddy, stay. Good job, buddy.
Good buddy. So now what we're going to do is flush the catheter. So my preceptor is actually holding off the leg. So when I actually flush the catheter, she's going to put a finger over the vein to see if she can feel the flush go through.
Okay.
All right, that went in perfectly. Okay, so the last thing to do is going to be to vet wrap. Good boy. And because it is a back leg, some people will tape it so that way it doesn't get caught. In this instance, I'm going to vet wrap it, and I'm going to vet wrap it so that way it's not hanging, but it's easily accessible in case they need a little bit of length. Now also, when you're doing the T-port, when you're flushing it, you can leave this unhinged. But when you're done flushing it or you're not using it, the best thing to, well, not the best thing, the thing you need to do is to clamp it off. All right, so that's clamped. Almost didn't tear that off. And then I'm going to vet wrap it just to keep it out the way and make it as sterile as possible. Keep it as sterile as possible. All right. So that is it. Thank you.